Would you trade cheaper housing for longer commute times? Well, I have 7 points I would like to talk to you about in making the right decision moving forward. Point number 1, cost of living. Obviously, once you move out of the city, things get cheaper. You will get a better product purchasing outside the city. You might get a bigger product, you might get a luxurious product, and so many other reasons. But most importantly, for those families with tight budgets, they are able to get into the real estate market and finally start paying off their mortgage. So it is definitely a benefit to a lot of people moving outside the city. But would you trade cheaper housing for the commute times? Point number 2, quality of life. Longer commutes obviously require you driving a lot longer, being stuck in traffic, dealing with all that happens on daily basis in your commute world, and you don't know what will happen, right? So if you have a stationary job and you know from point A to point B, might be a little bit easier because you will be able to kind of estimate your traveling times. Having said that, now we have winters, we have summers, we have construction, we have different delays, we just have the world impacting that day you're traveling to work. But looking like on a bigger scale, you will get tired doing this on an ongoing basis. I mean, getting into the market is one thing, but then on the other thing is like, if you're gonna be spending in that commute, obviously it will be less time for your family, it will be less time for your personal activities and your hobby, since you are stuck and you're sacrificing for the cheaper housing, going and driving outside the city. Point number 3, transportation costs. Now, a lot of people don't take this into consideration. Obviously, gas, vehicles, amortization on your particular vehicle, there's all costs associated to that particular subject. Gas, insurance, traveling cost, tires, maintenance when it comes to your vehicle. How many vehicles do you need? Will you need more than one vehicle once you leave the city and you're not on a transportation hub? And let me tell you an interesting fact. I've dealt with a lot of clients of mine that left the city. And what I have found, like 9 out of 10 cases, your friends will visit you, like the first year. Because they're nosy, they want to know where you are, they want to see what's going on, and that's fine. But then only your core friends that you can count on one hand will actually visit you. So you have to understand that, and it's just like I guess a natural path where it's going to lead you to that. You will not be left alone. You might find new friends and all that stuff, but if you're kind of stuck to the city, don't expect that the city will come to you because you left the city, your friends, etc. So just keep that in mind. It's the environmental impact. Well, we all have to be cautious. Now we're dealing with a person driving on daily basis, half an hour longer, 1 hour longer. It does impact our environment, especially if you are driving alone. So if you somehow can find like a partner and stuff like that, share those costs. It might help you along the way, but it gets difficult. You're probably moving to an area that you don't know anyone, or you just, and even if you do, they're not working in that particular pocket of the city where you are going and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Another point is health and well-being. So extended traveling times over a longer period of time will add to your stress levels, anxiety levels, right? Like, because if you're away for an hour and a half, 45 minutes to work, you will get that anxiety, like, like, what if I'm late? How many times can you be late? Maybe your job is not as flexible, and you have to be there obviously on time, you have to punch in and all of that stuff. So you have to take these things into consideration. And let me ask you a question. So what will you do if there's a huge snowstorm? What will you do? I mean, if you were in the city or on the block, you will be able to get to your job and punch in and continue working. So you might have to take a day off, or take a sick day or leave, whatever the case is, but eventually it is definitely stressful, and you will feel that impact of traveling every day to your job destination. So here's another point. Job opportunities. I'm not saying that there are no job opportunities where you would like to move to get the cheaper housing and fit that affordability budget, family budget. But there are less opportunities unless you already know that there's an opportunity in that village, town, or the city you're moving to, and you might be fine. But once you go out there, you're kind of starting from the scratch. Other than the fact that you purchased a property, you're paying off your mortgage, and you're building some equity, and you actually got into the real estate market game. But everything else, it's definitely more challenging. Kids have to change schools. You might not be close to your parents or friends, as we mentioned earlier. You're dealing with commuting times that will affect your personal levels, add to your stress, less time with your family, less hobby time, and so many other reasons. So you will have to make that call. Definitely will have to make that, sit down and think about it for real. Am I okay to move out of the city and move my family out of the city? And you're basically starting your life from scratch. Now, the job opportunity might be there if you already know it, but if not, I mean, it is easier to find a job within the city. Obviously, different opportunities in the city will open for you eventually. Obviously, a big city, big in mechanism, and a big machine. So before you make your next move, and before you get excited about the housing costs moving outside the city, please go through the list and think about what we just talked about regarding commuting times, regarding communication with your friends and family, change of school, job opportunities, and there's probably more that you already feel watching this video, your own personal concerns. So thank you all for watching, and see you next time, with hopes that you will make the right decision.